welcome back to the Yarnell School of Fine Art. Glad you could join me. This is going to be our final session on this wonderful, beautiful, impressionistic painting. And I know a lot of you are excited to have a chance to finish it as usual, but always excited about starting a new one, which we'll do in our next session. Now, folks, this is truly one of the most exciting types of paintings there is. Now remember, these programs are designed to give you good techniques, okay? This is not a masterpiece, all right? That's not what it's for. I don't put these up for sale necessarily unless I repair them or spend some time on them. But there's a lot of instructional value in this impressionistic style of painting, and that's what we're getting across. Notice the painting is pretty much under control now. We're just going to go back and start highlighting, adding a few flowers and a few minor details that give this painting its final pizzazz. We're going to start right here with our big tree. Now, I had sketched it in, and I'm going to go ahead and block it. Now, this is not going to be a leafed tree. This is going to be a dead tree. As a lot of you know, I like to paint dead trees, but we've got a lot of live trees in here, and it's kind of fun to do something like this. Now, take your number 6 bristle brush, take some burnt umber, some blue, and some purple. And what I want you to do is just kind of do this. Just kind of make an interesting shape to this tree here. It's going to hang right out kind of into the painting, and it's got a little crick in it. You want to make it interesting. Don't make it just perfectly straight. That wouldn't be much fun. This is a neat tree. You know, old dead trees are full of character. I've got a couple in my backyard. In fact, the other day one of my neighbors came by and told me he wanted to show me something, and he has a tree similar to this, and up in the very top of it, in the fork of about 3 or 4 branches, were 6 raccoons, and they were all sitting right there just looking down on us, and that's where and there was a big hollow spot up there, I think, where they had raised the family since springtime, so that was kind of fun. Dead trees have a lot of great character, so, you know, don't ever hesitate to put 1 or 2 in your paintings, and you can really, really see how it changes the composition. Now, notice how I'm kind of just quickly and loosely laying in a few limbs. Now, there's going to be one here. You might want to, let's go ahead and switch to I hate to have you do this, but switch to your script brush. Take a little sienna and blue and purple and mix a mixture. But again, working with your script brush doesn't mean we're going to focus in on extreme detail. It simply means that we're going to put the limbs in that we need so that our eye will focus back here, but we're going to be loose and free like this, okay? When you put these in here, we're going to come out of this. See how nice and rich that is? You want to see your eye hang down or move down towards the center of the painting? Now, again, the script brush work is something that a lot of you need to practice. It requires a good bit of just understanding how to mix the paint and how to, you know, hold the brush so that it's got good flow to it. Now, don't put any real low limbs just yet. We'll probably do that after we put some more of the highlighting in here. But see, I kind of go through and kind of scumble in here and put a couple out like this. Now, this is absolutely as detailed as we're going to get in this painting. I'm telling you, this is a little bit further than a lot of impressionists would take their tree limbs. I just happen to do that because that's my style of painting. And we are going to put a few more in here after we get some of the highlights and things in here. Okay, we'll let this dry. While that's drying, we'll move in and start highlighting things and putting shadows in. In fact, we'll go ahead and put the shadow in here right now on the road. And you need your number 6 bristle brush back for that. You need to take your purple and a little touch of burnt sienna. I mean, just a little. Now, purple is your natural shadow color. You want to dry brush it in here on the road. Kind of goes up the side there and right up here. This is the shadow on the grass there. And you just kind of dry brush it across. Now, if it's too dry, it won't work, so be kind of careful. Put a little bit of white in there. But you want to keep, because you want to keep your edges soft, okay? And it's a little wider here, and then as you come out here, kind of go up the edge of the road, see, and into there. This shadow is critical to this painting. And you may start seeing some of the limbs that they're up high, kind of branch off there. So you can go ahead and add a couple of limbs. Now, who's to say there's not maybe another tree or two coming in from here that we can't see? So sometimes it's fun to add shadows from an outside source, and that really adds character to the painting. In fact, I'm going to do that. I like that idea. You can put a little shadow like there's some more trees and stuff, and see, it just adds character to the painting. But I want you to notice how loose and free all the strokes are. There's no hard edges as much as possible. You want to keep everything very subtle and soft and smudgy. That's what makes a good impressionistic painting. I have some students that paint only modern stuff, impressionistic stuff, realistic stuff. I teach it all and I paint it all. I know what I like the best. And Impressionism is borders on one of my favorite things to paint. Okay, yeah. Okay, just kind of smudge that shadow across there. That's a marvelous thing. Now, wherever the ruts are, you take the same color, just kind of smudge in where the ruts are. You're going to notice every time we add something now, it adds a little touch of finish to the painting, a little touch of, fine finality. In fact, if you want to put a few little mud puddles in here, rinse your brush out real good. Take a little white, teeny touch of blue, and I mean a smidgen of blue there. And you can come in here and you can dry brush in like this. And you know that the water always is going to fall into the lower depressed areas, so it's probably going to be inside the ruts or in some, low areas on the road. So you just put it in there and take your finger, kind of smudge it, and that kind of, oh, that looked great. See everything, just a quick touch, and boy, it looks just like a little bit of water left over after a rainy day. Oh, this is just marvelous. Now, let's highlight some of the tree trunks. Now, this is where it gets pretty exciting, and you're going to start seeing now real quick how fast this painting falls into place. Just take your little round sable, take white with a little bit of orange. It's pretty strong. Put it on real thick. Now, this time you can use your maul stick if you want to. Of course, your maul stick is designed to give you good control, and some of you need it, when you're getting on small things, but like on the edges of your tree trunks like this. So you want to get, it's maybe kind of hard to see, but I'm just dry brushing right on the edge. See, like that, and it gives that just a little sparkle of light. See what that does? It gives that sparkle like that. Do the same thing over here. You just put a little bit of light in there, and then there should be a couple of limbs in this darker area. And you could kind of just dry brush those in like this. These may have a little more character to them. See, that really looks good, just at the base right there. Now, I've been thinking about something here. I'm going to get my charcoal. That's what I love about charcoal. And I like the idea of possibly having an old fence, maybe coming up through here like this, and let this sort of be the eye flow back into the painting there. And I think I like that, so let's put it in there. I'm going to take my number 4 flat sable with a little blue, burnt sienna, just a smidgen of the white there. It kind of grays it a little. Blue, sienna, and of course there's a little purple in there. It's just sort of a gray color. Always blow off the excess charcoal dust. But let's just put that first post in right there and this one here. Notice how I'm kind of leaning them a little bit. This really adds this nice little touch. And this is another way of understanding how you can finish a painting with impressionistic strokes. See, they're just real quick strokes. I'm not trying to impress anybody. That sounds kind of funny. I'm just trying to create the suggestion, the impression, okay? Just go right on back. Now, if you have more control with a smaller brush, which most of us would have, you could take that little round sable. And just kind of go on back here in the distance. Okay, and just kind of let your shadows fall back on the contour of the land, and I just take my finger and kind of smudge them in. I like fences. I like country roads. You know, growing up kind of in the country, although I grew up in the city, I spent almost every waking moment out in the country that I could. Now, we'll highlight the edge of that post just like we did our trees with the white and the orange. And all you do is just kind of quickly. See, everything's in impression is quick. You don't sit there and refine the stroke. If you do, you're going to lose that freshness that you get with this technique, okay? And that's what I'm trying to get across here. Even in the end, if you decide to make yours more detailed, please at least try to keep it impressionistic in the beginning. You will be a much better painter and you'll be a happier camper in the end, because it really does teach you good, quick control, okay? Now, as we start closing in on the finishing of this painting, I want you to notice now what makes a good impressionist work is getting your focus where you want it. In other words, I want my eye to get back here, so I'm definitely not going to spend a lot of time back over here detailing things. I want everything to be back here. So I will add the things that I want to be back here and sort of eliminate the things that I don't want to focus on here. For instance, I may even put another little white sort of picket-like fence, which I originally thought about doing in the beginning, and I think I mentioned that to you. But like along the background here, and I'll tell you what this does. See, just a quick little fence like this all the way across the back. It kind of catches your attention when you look at this. Yep, that does it. And see, you go back there, and this fence, and the road, the strong light in the road pulls you right on back in there until you've created that look that you want to have. Okay? Now, as usual, I'm going to do something else here. I'm going to throw in a few rocks. Now, let's just go to our number 6 bristle brush. Now, the rocks are almost just made out of pure highlight color, so you just take the white, a little bit of orange. Okay, now all you're going to do here, folks, is suggest, again, like for instance right here, just a quick touch. I'm not trying to make anything fancy. I'm just suggesting putting a little highlights to let you think or make you think there are rocks there without going overboard. Got a little too much yellow in that one to be a little more on the orange side. Just little touches. so that when a person looks at this, they'll know for sure that there's rocks and pebbles and things, and they don't have to look for each one, and you don't have to paint each one. Now see, I come in here and I can dry brush light in the middle of the road. See, I'm doing this to kind of give it the suggestion of old tire tracks, marks. These are just little techniques that you use to create and suggest things. But isn't that beautiful? This way this road's turning out here, and the little highlights where the rocks go. You can put a little more light down in here. Maybe the sun is kind of peeking through here. Okay, now let's bark our tree over here. That'll be a lot of fun. Take these same colors, the white and the orange, and just go up and down like this with a horizontal stroke, leaving some of the background trunk coming through. And depending on how you finish this out, depends on what kind of bark it looks as to what kind of tree it is. For instance, you know, if you can make it look kind of twisted. You can make it look like an old cedar. You can make it look like pine. You can make it look like oak. You can make it look like anything, just by how you manage the bark and how you leave the spaces. See how I just brought that down there? See how neat that looks? It's a beautiful tree, and that's all it took was just a few quick strokes, and then we kind of finish it up. So that's what Impressionism is all about, just trying to create the suggestion of bark, not actually make bark. Okay, now, if that's done, we need to get to the flowers. Now, this is the part where almost all of us really get excited, you know, and sometimes we'll go overboard and we'll ruin our painting. Well, obviously, that's not what we want to do. But let's go down into our palette now. Let's take our knife, and I'm going to mix up some colors that I think would be helpful. Let's take white and a little purple, and let's make some purple flowers. Put plenty of white in here. Okay. Then let's take the white and a little bit of alizarin crimson. Now I showed you the last few weeks the photographs I was working from this park close by in the community where I live, and it's beautiful. People come from all over to see the beautiful azaleas and flowers. Well, here I've got the pink and the purple, and I think I like that combination just about as good as any. Now you may want to use some yellows and pure reds, which we may put a few pure reds in there. But now take your number 10 bristle brush, rinse it out, wipe it out, get it nice and dry. Now you pick selected areas where you want the light to be the most dramatic, or the color. And let's start with the pink. Dab your brush straight on, and you just come up and you start locating like this, where you think the best spot would be for the pink flowers. And you put them in. See, they're quick, loose strokes. We're not making individual flowers, folks. That would get you in more trouble than you've got hairs on your head. You're going to make collections of flowers, suggestions of flowers, impressions of flowers, not a flower. Okay, you put these back in here, where other spots where you think the pink flowers would be nice. And if you don't like the pink, folks, beef it up with some red or some other color. It just really doesn't matter to me, as long as it fits the color scheme to the painting. I just sort of happen to like pink. Many years ago when I had a gallery in New Mexico, a lady walked in from Russia, and they didn't have much color over there, and she had me send her a whole bunch of colored mat board, other colors, pink, green, and white. Those were the colors she decorated in her house. And I'll never forget that. It was kind of fun, because she said they didn't have much color over there, and so you had to get it from other places. Now I'm putting some purple. I love purple. Now, most of you that know me or been watching know that I love purple, and I'll put purple in just about everything. But this is an exciting adventure, folks, and you're going to scatter this stuff. Now, I'm being a little cautious here because I really like the painting sort of not too busy. even though Impressionism can get pretty busy pretty quick, I'm being real careful not to get too much color in here that will overpower, because I want to stay focused, kind of where I want to be back here. Yeah, see how neat that is? Now, adding touches of the real bright color like the reds now might be real helpful. See, by scattering the flowers around and kind of repeating it, it creates a nice effect. And you take the pure red. Now, this is the one that can really be a big help to you, or an enemy as well. But like, for instance, around the fence post here, we got to be careful. You got to really be sure that you don't get too much. I almost got too much there. Just a little around the bottom of your posts. Scatter that red. So you don't want to get too much. Maybe a little right here. And see what this is where your eye is spending its time. So you want to get most of your real strong color there. Although a little here won't hurt at the base of your tree. Sometimes that's a nice little touch. But you can scatter put these flowers just about anywhere as long as you're careful. You can even use white ones, and you can use yellow ones. And in fact, let's just try a few pure yellow ones. Let's see what happens here. I see some spots where pure yellow might really be a good thing. Especially right here where we already have the yellow. If you'll come in and sort of emphasize that. Boy, isn't this an exciting painting? Look at all the wonderful textures and feelings. Wow, this yellow is working great. Especially along this road right there. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Back in here would be nice too. See, I'm just barely touching. Create a little bit of a yellowish glow, and right through here it's like the sunlight coming through here. Man. Let me just stand back and look at it. Remember, the average Venus is 6 feet. And right now, that's where you need to be looking at this, okay? See, this just adds a sparkle to it. That's another thing that it does. Yep. That was the ticket. That really did. Okay, now we'll pull out our script brush again. And I always like to have, at the base of my trees, as a lot of you know, some just real quick little limbs like this. Just sort of as, the little saplings, as eye stoppers to kind of help. Then we're going to put the barbed wire on, and again, this is something you can do kind of quick and loose. You can use your maul stick if you want to. Some of you have more control over it if you do. But see, the wire even is done very loose. Don't make a straight line. In other words, don't try to make it connected. It's okay if there's a little bit of the background. You see, you just kind of skip. You just want to create the suggestion, again, the impression that there's wire. And then when a person looks at it, they know it's there. They don't have to follow each one all the way down and count them, make sure they're all there. You just do your job of fooling the eye, making people think it's there, and then they'll know it's there, and then that's all there is to it. And see, I don't want to get them too bright or too thick or too dark. I'm going to wipe that out. See how quick I'm just doing that? Just enough to suggest it, kind of blend them in. Then you see your eye knows there's wire there without you spending a lot of time. Now I want you to notice all the loose strokes, folks, that we put in here in the very beginning, the very impressionistic strokes. Those are the things that give this painting its looseness and its freedom and its beauty and its excitement. Now let's put a couple of birds flying in here. Now, as far as what makes these work, you just simply, you see, you apply pressure. Isn't that neat? You start from the left and you go down and you apply pressure. Let's make a couple more. Watch this. You apply pressure, that forms the body, see? Isn't that neat? And let's try one more up here. Okay, it's good. Now, on the back side of our tree, we want to put the reflected highlight. That will also add a nice touch. Now, it doesn't matter what kind of painting you do, you still have to follow the rules of painting. We've got some of that purplish color mixed up in our flowers, so it's a great place to use it on the tree. So take your number 6 bristle brush now. Take a little bit of that purple color. I'm going to add a little blue to it. I always add blue to it, to mine. And just dry brush on the back side now of this big tree like this. So I'm kind of smudging that like that. See what that does is it rounds the tree, ties it all together, and folks, you can kind of touch this up, add highlights and a few more flowers, anything you want to, maybe a cow or two or a little boy and girl walking down the road, folks, and finish this up. But hasn't this been a marvelous, exciting, fun painting? I hope you've enjoyed this impressionistic lesson. We're going to do some more of these, and with different subjects, you know, ocean scenes, western scenes, you know, all kinds of things. We're going to have a great time in the future, okay? Now, I want to tell you, you have to finish this up to suit your own personality, and I really hope some of you will send me some pictures. I'd love to see some of the work that you've done, okay? Well, remember, next time when you join me, we're going to start a brand new painting. I guarantee you it'll be something you'll really enjoy, and I look forward to doing with me. So I want to keep you painting, all right? God bless you. Stay inspired, and keep painting, and I'm going to see you right here real soon, I promise you, on another Yarnell School of Fine Art.